We are awakening together. This is our weekly gathering we hold online. For more information, visit our website, awakening-together.org. We'd love to see you there.
Hi, everybody. I'm happy to be here with you all. Okay, so I'm going to read our statement of purpose. We are an assembly of equals, joined in common purpose, awakening to one true self. Within an appearance of many faiths, many cultures, and many symbols, we seek to discern one truth and to rest in its embrace. The core value I've chosen for today is core value number 4. We affirm one true self as the only truth. We live this value by embracing what is helpful on the path of awakening without idolizing any spiritual doctrine as truth. So I'm going to bring us into prayer right now. Thank you, Holy Mother, Father God, for meeting me exactly where I am. Thank you for loving us all as we are and holding us in your embrace. Thank you for your gentle compassion and grace. We call upon the Christ within to be our guide and show us the truth exactly where we are. Amen. Now I'd like to ask Anne Blanchard to share the reading that was chosen, which is the permission poem by Chelan Harkin.
Thank you. Good morning. So this is from Chelan Harkin's Let Us Dance, the Stumble and Whirl with the Beloved, the permission poem. I give you permission to write bad poems. I give you permission to write bad poems, to sing out of key, to dance like a clod. I give you permission for your heart to have edges, to be sea glass, not yet fully sanded smooth, to love imperfectly, and to let yourself off the hook for that now and then, even laugh about it. I give you permission to be awkward, miserable at times, miserly, and scared, to be glorious some days and wretched many others, for your life to be a sacred scribble. I give you permission to snuggle up with God just as you are, the full package deal with all your amenities of sweetness and sin. I give you full permission to carry on with the start and stall of humanness, lurching towards spirit, and to know that very few of us, if any, have a smooth ride. What authority do I have to give such permission? None. This poem is a plagiary of your own heart.
Thank you, Anne. I just love that poem so much. And that poem was playing in my head, or I read it and little bits and pieces were playing in my head as I was getting ready for today. And even like minutes before, it's that little ego that just wants to get everything right, that just brings up all that stuff from it within, and that's okay. That's okay. That's okay too. And that's yeah. It's beautiful. So my title for today's sharing, and I'll be reading a lot because I felt the need to write it out to share with all you guys. It's called Clarity in Unexpected Places. I recently went away for a long weekend to visit some friends and family in Florida. It was a short trip, and it was all about having fun and letting loose. both my best friend and I have been under a lot of stress lately. But during the visit, there was some very clear seeing of a lifelong pattern that had been playing for a very long time, always in the background. I was very excited to see my BFF and have fun, relaxing during the long weekend. We had this whole like girls weekend planned, and none of it involved my spiritual practice. I remember during the weekend thinking, I'm really not doing any of my spiritual practice while I'm here, just having fun and hanging out. There was a tinge of judgment that came with the thought, but right after came the thought, why can't I incorporate the two? My day-to-day regular life with my spiritual life. The question was genuine, but still there was a lot of judgment as to what or how things needed to look like in order to be considered spiritual. I saw how the ego was involved, but there was a genuine desire to incorporate the two. It started bothering me, but thankfully I was able to let it go and just stay with the inquiry, that desire of wanting to make everything a spiritual experience, not just when I'm sitting and meditating. So the first morning there in Florida, my friend and I were hanging out in St. Augustine, and it was a gorgeous day. We had such wonderful weather while I was there. It was like 83 degrees, not like how it is in Jersey, even though it hasn't been too terrible. So it was just beautiful. And we were having a really great time. And we decided to go have some brunch. And during the brunch, this very uncomfortable, very familiar feeling started to rise up. It was an old familiar unease when I'm out in public. Sometimes this feeling could be very loud, but usually it's pretty subtle. It's always playing in the background. So, but this morning it was huge. It it was like right in my face. And I just felt like the waves of feeling judged by others, it was not easy to ignore. I couldn't ignore it. It was just like, even while I'm sitting there talking with my friend and we're laughing, it was just constantly like right in my face. And while that was happening, I was noticing how I would change, who I thought I needed to be, or something I needed to say, or just act in a certain way to appease that imagined judgment that I was putting on everyone else against Marisol. And I saw, it was just really clear, like really for the first time. I mean, I'm aware that I've done this throughout my entire life, but that moment, it was just so clear of how much I perform or change according to what I believe is required from me at any given moment. So while this was happening, I just kind of, I allowed it, but it felt incredibly uncomfortable because I saw just how, all the judgments that I was feeling from everyone else, but then the judgments started coming up about me still experiencing this. I see how like, I'm just like this little puppy going through hoops. Like, was that good enough? Am I a good girl? And I couldn't believe how much of that I had done my entire life. I thought, this is how I have walked around my whole entire life. Until now, until that very moment, it just, until now that like the mode of operation was like the humming of an AC unit running in the background, pretty much unnoticed, all the time. When it was just that big, when I was at brunch with my friend, I couldn't believe like how much of it was always going on. Like it was, I think all the time. And the way that it would be felt, it wasn't necessarily like the words that I was experiencing in that moment. It was just that crappy feeling that comes along with it, and the lashing out at others, and just plain feeling icky inside. But that morning, the judgment thoughts were very loud and clear. They were like this huge ogre right up in my face, breathing hard, saying, "You are less than everyone walking on this earth. You are bad and unwanted." I mean, I don't know if this is the right word, but I was in awe of how pervasive and huge this way of being and seeing myself was. I was in awe of how much of my life was spent in believing all of it. Later that morning, while I was sitting on the beach talking with my friend, I had these waves of sadness that came up. They were really strong. I felt a deep sadness of having lived my entire life seeing myself as less than, bottom of the barrel, lowest of the low, that it had always been playing out in the background and believed. I had constantly walked around life waiting to be rejected or attacked for just being. I rarely allowed myself to ever be genuine in the moment, no matter what. There was no denying what had come up to be seen and all I was seeing. With the sadness, there was this desperation, a desperation to no longer live that way. The feelings were strong, but somehow I just let it all come up. I couldn't run away from it while we were sitting there on the beach. And I remember even mentioning it to my friend that I couldn't believe that I still felt this way about myself, or I still believed all those judgments, or how much I still cared about what everyone else was thinking. So when I did have I had a moment to myself when I was alone in my room. I said a little prayer and I asked for help, because I saw this thing as so huge that it was always going to be here and there was nothing I can do about it. But I knew how sick I was of all of it. I remember saying how sick I was of all of it, how tired I was of believing all of it. And I remember asking myself, why am I still doing this? I really don't want to do this anymore. I prayed, please heal this Holy Mother, because I don't know how. And later on during the day, I kind of, I let it go and it was forgotten as I was enjoying my time with my friend. It wasn't as huge anymore. I guess I just kind of allowed it all to just be there. And I just continued to have fun with my friend. And in the evening, we decided to go to this haunted house. And there was this huge line to get in, and a ton of people around us. And there was that tinge coming up, that old pattern from that morning wanting to rise up. But something else rose up as well. It was a thought, I really don't have to believe this about myself. This isn't true. It really isn't true. And with that pattern, and with that, the pattern could not latch on to me. In that moment, I had the strength to ignore it. And for the first time, it felt like I could breathe. I could just be myself, warts and all, without trying to get anyone to accept or like me. There was a love and acceptance welling up from within. I didn't need to perform. I didn't need to be approved of, liked, or loved. I could just be. There was such freedom in that. I don't remember ever feeling that kind of freedom about myself. It was like this huge sigh of relief within. A weight had been lifted. For the rest of the trip, I had noticed that something had shifted. All throughout my time there, and at any given moment, the old habit energy would rise up for me to perform, to change, to be different in order to make someone else more comfortable, happy, not judge me or be annoyed with me. But there was a clear seeing that no, I really don't have to do that. It's okay. It's okay to be as I am in this moment. Even if I'm not liked, judged, or seen as wrong, it's okay. I don't have to perform. And once that choice was seen and knowing there is the possibility to choose, I was able to let it go. And that sigh of relief would return. Oh, it doesn't have to be that way. Peace and freedom would naturally come into presence. The old habit energy comes up first, but now the choice is there with this, and it's clear. With this new way of being, there is a bit of uncomfortableness. It's like wearing a new pair of shoes I still have to get used to. But the freedom of just being and not performing or wanting feels a little unsettled at first, but the clarity of the pattern and all that comes with it has clearly been seen. It can't be forgotten. It's definitely something I don't want anymore. It's definitely not how I would choose to see myself or to live my life. And I am so, so incredibly grateful for that unexpected gift that life gave me during that trip. And it was not something, it's definitely, I definitely, there was that voice like in the beginning of the trip where moments sprinkled throughout where it's like, oh, look at this. You're not doing any of your spiritual practice. You're not, and feeling bad or feeling like it needs to look a certain way, or be a certain way. And, not only was I given the gift of clearly being shown a pattern that does not serve, but I was shown that spiritual practice and grace doesn't always have to look or come a certain way. And I choose not to put any limitations on the gift Spirit's gonna offer and bring me. And my willingness is all that I need. That's just all I need. And that was very clear for me. And there was even more that was clearly seen as well when I was visiting with my best friend's mom, who's known me since I was a little girl. And my friend's relationship with her mom is pretty strained. And she doesn't have a lot of nice things to say about her mom. And it was like a burden for her to have to go there, but her mom really wanted to see me. And she has a lot of patterns and conditioning that would rub people the wrong way. And she's very outspoken. And I was just able, while we were there with her, the time I was sharing there with her, I was just really able to just see the innocence in her. I don't know, there was just this willingness to just love her as she was. And the clear thought came to me at that moment when, we're sitting and I'm listening to her say things that, kind of inappropriate, I guess, or rub people in a very wrong way. I just remember just this clear thought in my mind that was saying, I have such love and compassion for her. Why can't I do that for myself, for Marisol? Why can't I just let her off the hook as well? It's not her fault. She's just playing out patterns and conditioning. And I was like, wow, why can't I do that? Why can't I just be kind and accepting of Marisol as she's going through this journey? And I was so incredibly grateful for that, because, I see it here sprinkled here and there, like the things that I'm sharing, but there is a difference. And I guess we all know when it just lands deep within you, that it's just, it's just like this knowing that wasn't there before, even though you kind of understood it intellectually. So, yeah, that is my sharing for that. And I have another song to share with everyone. Just have to so the next song that I'm going to ask Sina to play for us, it just opens my heart every time. When I hear the words, I feel God's presence and love embracing and holding me close. So while Sina plays the song for us, there will be, you can donate to Awakening Together by clicking on the link that Sina will post, or by using the QR code in the sanctuary. Thank you. Thank you, Sina. So apparently I didn't go on long enough. I'm sorry. I just really felt like that's what really spoke to my heart to share with all of you guys today. And I really hope you enjoyed that last song we listened to. I loved that all the words that you can look at, what is actually being said. I mean, I pick up things here and there, but usually with songs, it's always like, it just, even though I may not know exactly what it's saying, it's just when it speaks to my heart and I feel it so deep within, it was just felt even more so with looking at the words and what it says. So if anyone would like to share, that would be wonderful. See if anyone has anything they'd like to say.
Tina, how are you? I gotta tell you, I love that Marisol, and the reason I love that is because I recognize certain steps in the what I call letting go of the I am bad belief. You said something like, I don't know if this is the appropriate word, but I was in awe of how pervasive it was. Like that made my heart sing, because I remember exactly when that happened. I mean, I remember right where I was at when it happened, that I was just like shocked at how I happened to be at a water park with my kids. And, every woman that walked by, she could be thinner than me. She could be fatter than me. I mean, it didn't matter what she looked like. I was judging myself against her. Right. I was just shocked that it's like, and then I went home and my eyes landed on the windows that weren't clean and I got judged. And my eyes, it's like everything my eyes landed on resulted in a judgment on me. And I think in awe is a great word, because it's an insight, right? It's this insight that hits like, oh my God, this is what everything in life has been about for me. You know, everything in life has been about judging me. And that's a huge step forward. I mean, I almost want to cry. That is such a huge step forward to see that, and to also have that feeling of being in awe rather than another judgment, right? There's a big difference to see that, to see all of that, and then say, oh my God, I must be the worst. I just can't quit judging myself. See, that's just a judgment on top of a judgment. But to see all that and then to feel the insight, that's called clarity. You know, that's clarity. And I was just so excited when you described that experience because I recognized it. I was also very excited when you described the experience about going to the haunted house and, you know, all of this self-judgment began to rise up again. And then you said, but something else rose up too, or something like that, right? Which was, of course, was the realization that you didn't need to believe it. And I recognize that as well. And what's really important about that was when the self-judgment started to rise up, what I didn't hear you say was some kind of pushing away or repression or, oh no, not that again, or I failed again, you know, I thought I knew better and here it comes again. I didn't hear any of that self-judgment. I just heard this rose up, but then this rose up too. And I knew which one to listen to, right? Right? So there's no repression of this. This was still allowed to be, but this came too. And I knew which one to listen to. I knew to listen to that, you know, I didn't have to believe it. And I will tell you, although I don't remember the specifics because my brain isn't that good anymore, my memory isn't that good anymore. Just in the last week, I don't know what was going on, but I noticed all this self-judgment rising up, which for me now is out of the ordinary, right? So it's kind of surprising to have all this coming up, but there's such an ease now at just laughing at it. Like, ha, look at that, you know, I wonder why that's rising up. Like the not believing it has become the new norm, right? And so, you know, the beginning of that transition, you said it feels a little odd, like you have a new pair of shoes that you need to get used to wearing. You know, that will be true. And it's even possible that, that this judgment's going to fight for its life. So, you know, you might see some really strong stuff come up. I did. So I'm not saying you have to, but if you do, don't be shocked, right? Just say, okay, that's just it, fighting for its life. It's for some reason, I can't explain why this stuff tries to survive. I don't know why. It doesn't make sense to me, but it does. So it might try fighting for its life, but what you want to stay focused on is that something else, that I don't have to believe this, and that I don't have to believe this will get stronger and stronger and stronger. And someday it will just be the new norm. And then when the self-judgment, first of all, the self-judgment won't rise as much once that becomes the new norm. But if it does, like it did for me in the last week, it's just so easy at some point to realize, oh, that's just that old crap. You know, that's all that is. Like, you know, that doesn't matter anymore. So I just, you know, really, I'm in celebration over here. You know, I know you probably still have steps to go. I'm not screaming, woohoo, you're done. That would be stupid. But you're taking legitimate steps that I recognize. And that's what I want you to know. These are legitimate steps. They're wonderful steps. And I am so happy for you. I just can't express it. So thank you for sharing so honestly today.
Would anyone else like to share, say anything?
Jacqueline.
Yeah, thanks. Hey, Marisol, I just want to second what Regina said. Woohoo! It's really exciting. I mean, it's so fun that we get to share these insights, this clarity together. And I'm just, I'm honored to be here with you. I'm thrilled for you. I'm thrilled for us. Thank you so much for sharing with us this morning. Your clarity is just gorgeous. Thank you.
Thank you, Jacqueline. Okay. no one else has anything to say, I guess we could listen to my last song that I chose. And this song that I chose, it always lifts me up every time. Every time I'm feeling discouraged on this path or feel like I haven't gotten far enough or I'm never going to get there. I see it as a promise. The song to me, I feel it as a promise. Our day will come, no matter where I see myself or how I see myself, my day will come because the truth is inevitable. So if you can share the song with us, Sina, that would be great. Thank you. That was great. I love that song. It just always brings me a smile and just makes me feel so happy inside, regardless of what's going on. So, if I guess now, I don't, I guess we can move on to, is there a group sharing or don't know. If anyone else would like to say anything, that would be great.
Yeah, go for it, Cindy. Thank you.
So I'm feeling really emotional. And I really wanted to just say thank you because like the words were beautiful, but there was something in your sharing underneath the words that moved me into a deeper realization. So yeah, I'm about to cry. Everything stopped during your sharing. All judgment stopped. All sense of Marisol was sharing her story, which was different than my story. That stopped. All wanting my life to be different stopped. All sense that I was needing to get something from outside of myself also stopped. It was like for and I know you wrote it down, and I know it was an experience supposedly in the world that somebody else had. It seemed that your openness, your willingness, your vulnerability, the fact that like here's another being walking, awakening together with me, I guess, something opened up within me while you were sharing. And I just wanted to say I love you and thank you for being you. And yeah, it may be that the whole world just changed because you decided to do this work. So that's what I have to say.
Thank you, Cindy. That was very beautiful. Really touched me. Thank you for that. Ruby has her hand up. You'd like to share something with us, Ruby? You can just unmic yourself.
Yes. First of all, I just can't, starting off with, well, let me just say, let me start from the end first. Our day will come. I know the words to that. That's the only, I only know a few words to any song, and that's one of them I know. So, that's old school. And then Stevie Wonder's, I listen to that not every day, but every time I walk, which is every other day. And it's 7 minutes long, I know. And I wanted to know what the word says because I love the energy. And what every else is saying, I love you always until the sun and la la la. But I never knew what the words were. But I was just, walking and dancing and loving it every time I walk. So anyway, the one thing that you had said to me, well, it was so profound. I had George and I were going, I think we were on our way to, I don't know where we were going, but we were going somewhere together. And then I said to him, I said, you know, I didn't do my spiritual work. It was just 2 days ago. I mean, it was literally 2 days ago. I said, I didn't do my spiritual work today. And I feel bad. I said, do you ever not do your spiritual work? And he said, well, he's going over the whatever. So he said, rarely. I mean, like rarely. And he said, but sometimes I just do it for 15 minutes. When I do my spiritual work every day, kind of like almost every day, I'm there for like 2 to 3 or 4 hours. And so I said, oh, 15 minutes. Yeah. Well, I had walked an hour and listening to Stevie Wonder that day and listening to love songs about myself and about love and loving. But I didn't count that as being my spiritual work. But judgment wanted to show up. It wanted to show up. So I said, well, 15 minutes, you know, that next time I'll think about that. But you said something beyond that. And I forgot what it was. If I don't write it down, could you explain to me what you went? Because you went to another level, and I love that. So could you explain? Because it's in my mind, in my heart, but I just forgot the words.
About when I realized that our spiritual practice doesn't have to look a certain way or be a certain way. As long as we have our willingness, that's all we need.
Yes, that was it. And so, and it was like you were, oh, now I got it. It was like you were saying every moment is your spiritual. You have an opportunity to, you are spiritual. Every moment is spiritual. So, so thank you for that. I really appreciate it. Your whole lesson and everything was perfect. Thank you.
Thank you, Ruby. And also Regina wrote on the board, thank you, that I also indicated that it isn't separate from my everyday life or from our everyday life. So thank you for posting that, Regina. Anne?
Oh, it is with such joy, as everyone has said, that I receive your sharing. I got to tell you, what kept playing in my mind is yet another song, which is The Long and Winding Road, you know, the long and winding road. And I feel like we've been on that, you know, years since gentle healing and now into heart explorations. And what I love is that, so you have this kind of scene in your own mind. Oh my God, I don't have to believe that. And you get that little bit of space, and then you head over to your friend's mom, and the mom does whatever, you know, whatever moms do. And you can feel the compassion, and you can feel the, yeah, I can see what they're saying about that being a little, maybe not the smoothest way to structure your experience right now, but that you felt just, you know, loving her the way she was. But like the wisdom that showed me, because that's lovely, right? I mean, that's clearly right-minded, and we all love being in our hearts when other people are doing their them. But I love the wisdom that rose up. Wait a second. Why can't I give that to me? Wait, I can give that to me. I'm so willing to let her off the hook right now. Why can't I let me off the hook? Why can't I just accept and be kind to the unraveling or the re-raveling or the eruption or the deruption of the Marisol character? And for me, that is such a critical, like the way Kate has taught us all is I just refuse to give myself a hard time. Oh yeah, all this happened and I refuse to give myself a hard time. But I remember very clearly when I realized the only one not letting me off the hook was me. I mean, I even had people telling me that I should be off the hook. And I, no, let me tell you why I shouldn't be off the. I remember when it finally occurred to me, wait a second, the only one that's holding this edifice of judgment in place is me. And I remember, I like Regina, I remember exactly where I was at my very first Awakening Together retreat at the St. Francis Retreat Center on some walk. And all of a sudden it just occurred to me, wait, only I'm keeping this alive about me. And I tell you, that made all the difference in the world, because there's nothing that has to, everything's going to do what it's going to do. And then the only question is, how quickly can I bring myself back to sanity? And it might be a little while, it might be a long and winding road, but it's always there. Like you said about our day will come, because the truth is inevitable. And what I so have always, I mean, Marisol, as you know, you've been such a teacher for me, because no matter what was going on in life, you showed up on Tuesday mornings and you told the truth. And you showed up and you told the truth. And you showed up and you told the truth. And awareness alone is curative. Now, it's not instant, but that's the process. And you gave yourself to you trusted the process, which was always about willingness. And the more you rise in vibration, I think the more you're met with a higher vibration that then gets, entrained. And so I love that. I love the ease with which you share this, knowing it is but a step, but a mighty, mighty step. And the vibration of love and willingness and, and kindness to self is so evident. And like, like Cindy said, I feel like it all happened here. And so this has all just felt like a transmission of truth. And so I just want to thank you again, my friend, for showing up so powerful in my life and all of us that get together on Tuesday mornings and awakening together in the world, and most importantly for you. And so thank you, my friend. I love you.
Oh, thank you, Anne. I love you too. Thank you so much. And Peter at the retreat house has his hand up. You want to share something?
Yeah, I want to share something. I put it also in this chat, and a couple of days back, I read something and I underlined it. And when you talked about your spiritual practice and that you feel a kind of freedom actually to let it aside in a way, I don't know exactly how you felt it, but what came to me is actually, I want to read it. It is this: do not worry about whether you meditate or not, whether you read the right books or not, or even if you act rightly. Only and exclusively take care to keep your mind and heart open to receive love. And I felt that actually when you say that you feel actually, when you start also to ask for help, I think your day has come in that moment. That is actually the relationship. You open yourself to receiving that love. Asking for help, I think that is the biggest thing we can do. And that is an open mind and an open heart. So I want to share that with you, because I feel that too so much actually, that my spiritual practice comes from an open heart and not from, oh, it becomes a tyrant or something like that. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you so much for that. Thank you for speaking that. That was beautiful. So it looks like we made it to the end. I'm so incredibly grateful for this time that I got to spend with all of you. This has been such a blessing. I just hope you all have a wonderful week. I love you all.
Online. For more information, you can visit our website at awakening-together.org, or you can subscribe to our Awakening Together channel and click the bell for more notifications when we post our weekly gatherings. Thank you again for watching.